communicate well. Is that fair to say?
Not as well as you would think, but we do communicate.
Well, had you and your brothers in the Dallas chapter talked about the threat that was happening in Waco?
We talked about us being targeted, yes.
Specifically, you and your father had talked about that, correct?
I believe so, yes, sir.
And do you remember the date that Roe was injured?
It was in March, middle March.
March
I'm not
22nd, 23rd. Does that sound about right?
It sounds about right.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Carrizal, I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 92 and 93. Recognize those conversations that you had on text messages.
Yes, sir, I do.
Stop the state to offer States 92 and 93.
No, thank you. No objections, Your Honor, to State's Exhibit 92 and 93.
Then State's Exhibits 92 and 93 are admitted.
Judge O'Connor.
Just give it a second. Now try it again.
There we go. All right. Jake, States 92, is this a conversation that you had with your dad on March the 23rd, 2015?
Yes, sir.
And your dad sends a message that says, say a prayer for your brother, he just left. And that's at 3:28 p.m. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you responded, is Sheena following him?
Correct.
Who's Sheena?
His wife.
All right. And which brother are we talking about here?
My brother, Zach.
Zach from New Mexico?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what is your dad's response?
Yes, he's got his tools on his side with 39 sockets.
And what did that mean?
I take it, yes, he's got his pistol with him.
With 39 bullets?
I would say so, I guess so.
Extra magazines?
I don't know what magazine would hold 39 clips, or 39 bullets.
That's what I'm saying, with extra magazines, right?
I imagine so, yes, sir.
And do you know where Zach was going that day?
I'm not sure if he is going to Austin or if he is headed back home to New Mexico.
Okay, and if you're going from Dallas to Austin, do you have to travel through a city in between?
Yes, sir.
Waco?
Waco is one of them, yes, sir.
States 93. Your dad sent you a message, Zach's through Waco,
Yes, sir.
and your response was thank God. Was that maybe thank God?
I meant God, yes, sir.
Thank God. Okay. So back in March of 2015, there was a concern, at least between you and your father and Zach, about Bandido safety in Waco, correct?
Well, not just in Waco, but yes, sir, Bandido safety.
Well, enough that your dad sent you something specifically that Zach was through Waco.
Yes, sir.
And what was the reason for that concern about Zach's safety getting through Waco?
Well, I believe one of our brothers had been beat up on the road. I believe prior to that.
Roe?
Roe, yes, sir.
And so it was a concern about the Cossacks and what they might do to Bandidos?
Yes, sir.
I think you've talked about Cossacks were doing stupid things all over Texas. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I've heard rumors of it, yes.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
State's Exhibit 97. It's a message that you sent to, I believe these are your Dallas Bandido brothers, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then a response from your president, Dave Martinez. Do you recognize that conversation?
I see it. It's a post over this.
Your Honor, at this time, we offer State's Exhibit 97.
I don't object, Your Honor. This isn't, I'm object to hearsay. The court like to see.
Let me see the exhibit.
Jake, we've talked about the conflict between the Bandidos and the Cossacks and their supporters. Tell me about a time when the Bandidos retaliated against the Cossacks and maybe took something out of a bar or a clubhouse. Do you recall that?
Your Honor.
Yeah, I can't recall that. Can you refresh my
Let me
memory?
rephrase. It wasn't
Okay.
necessarily a Bandido, but maybe a support club that took something out of a bar.
Yes, I do remember.
Okay, what happened there?
One of our support clubs, one of our support club members, who's no longer a member, there was a banner hanging in a bar, and he went and took it down.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
Jake, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 117. Does that appear to be the banner that we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
And is that the support club member, Jughead, that sent you a photograph of himself with the banner?
Yes, sir.
What club was he a member of?
The Carrizal, I believe.
Your Honor, at this time we'd offer State's 117.
idea what the date of this message was when it was sent?
No, I don't. Is there,
No. No objections, Your Honor.
Okay, then State's Exhibit 117 is submitted.
This photograph was something sent to you. This isn't something you sent to anyone else.
yes, sir, but do you have my response to that?
I don't have your response. What was your response?
I believe I got onto him for doing dumb shit.
Okay. And that states 117. This is a support club member, Jughead, that took down we proudly support our local Cossacks and Scimitars.
Yes, sir.
Did the Vaqueros have a personal feud with the Cossacks and Scimitars?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they did or not.
Fair to say that the support clubs are going to follow the lead of the main chapter, the Bandidos.
Well, I'm sure they're going to hear of the different occasions different occasions where red and gold had been targeted, whether support or Bandidos.
And as we've seen in a lot of these text messages, you and other Bandidos communicate directly with those support clubs, telling them what to do and what not to do. Is that fair?
Well, not what to do and what not to do, but giving them guidance, yes.
How to ride, when not to act up, and things like that?
Well, if I see them doing something dumb, I'm going to tell them that we don't do that.
Sure. Jake, one of the things you testified to yesterday is that you're not a criminal. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever committed an assault against somebody for no reason?
I'm going to object, Your Honor, to specific instances of conduct and improper 404 evidence.
Judge, this is in response to the direct examination of the defendant. It's improper character testimony. I'm just going to rebut the testimony that was given through his own messages.
Not all,
Go ahead.
I was going to say not all assaults are criminal.
I agree with that contention. And I think if I could lay the groundwork here, we'll see where we're going.
Okay, I'm going to overrule the objection at this time.
Jake, when did you and Valerie Stockton start dating?
I think March of 2015.
And do you recall an occasion in May of 2015, May 3rd specifically, where you and Valerie got into an argument over text messages about you getting in a fight with somebody?
I'm going to object, Your Honor, to the question is improper extraneous conduct, Your Honor. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I'm going to overrule the objection.
You recall that?
I honestly don't remember.
Jake, did you slap somebody for no reason?
At the time, it was not for no reason.
Did your girlfriend at the time think it was for no reason?
We were in the middle of a fight at the time at that place,
Okay. Where were you at?
at her work at the time.
I'm going to object again to irrelevance, Your Honor, to relevancy.
Well,
Overruled.
then, Your Honor, at this time, I'll offer State's Exhibit 1069.
And I object to it as hearsay, Your Honor. Ms. Stockton is under subpoena and has been this entire trial.
I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sorry. Nothing is under subpoena?
No, Ms. Stockton.
Jake, you had a conversation with Miss Stockton about a fight that happened on May the 3rd. Where did this fight occur?
It occurred at her work. She had gotten off work and we had an argument.
Okay, and who did you slap?
One of the patrons at that bar.
You got into a fight with somebody?
No, I slapped him.
And Valerie thought you slapped him for no good reason.
Well, yeah, that was part of, in the middle of the argument, yeah.
All right.
Me and that gentleman are actually good friends now.
Okay. Let's talk about May 17th, 2015. I know that we talked at length yesterday. I'd just like to talk with you about a couple of different things, okay?
Yes, sir.
How many folks did you ride down to Waco with?
I don't know an exact number. I believe right around 20.
The text messages that we've seen said that you were going to meet up at I-35 in Wintergreen. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes, sir.
Where is I-35 in Wintergreen?
It's right south of Dallas, South Dallas.
And the meetup time was at, I think the text message to bring tools went out at, or the last one was at about 10:30 in the morning. When did you actually leave I-35 in Wintergreen?
I'm not for sure. I know I was running behind. I had a flat tire on my bike that morning
Okay.
when I got to Twin Peaks. So I just got there, put air in my tire, and then we got on the road. So I'm not sure exactly what time.
All right. Tell us the structure of the Caravan as you rode to Waco. Who was riding up front?
My uncle and myself.
Okay. And your uncle's 3D.
Yes, sir.
He was the Dallas chapter president.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're the vice president, so you're riding next to him.
Yes, sir.
Who's behind y'all?
I can't remember. I want to say my brother Wrecker and maybe my dad. I honestly can't remember.
And who's record?
My brother Bandido in my chapter, Reggie Weathers.
Reggie Weathers.
Yes, sir.
And your dad is Shovel.
Yes, sir.
For you, he's dad.
He's dad to me.
Okay. So essentially, the Dallas Bandido chapter's up front. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Was there any other Bandido chapters other than the Dallas chapter?
We had one brother that was visiting from, I believe, Arkansas, that was with us.
Okay. Had he come in for the party the night before?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so he decided to go to Waco with y'all.
Correct.
All right. And who else was with your group?
I believe, well, our support clubs that were able to go.
And we've learned from the messages that there's no specific order of the support clubs. They can ride in front, or behind, or next to one another. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And was that how they, excuse me, is that how they were riding that day?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Did the Dallas chapter have any prospects at that time?
No, we didn't.
So there weren't any prospects in that line?
No.
Bandido prospects.
No, sir.
And then support club prospects are in the back, is that right?
Yes.
All right, Jay. This is how the Dallas contingent drove into Waco, Texas, is that right? Or rode into Waco, Texas?
Yes, sir.
How many were with that group?
You want me to count them?
Well, estimate. When you left I-35 in Wintergreen, how many were with you?
I would say about 20.
About 20?
Yes, sir.
1071, as you rounded that corner and went in front of Officer Rush's video, who are the first two riders that we see up front?
My uncle and myself.
Let me back up a little bit. On your ride down from Dallas to Waco, did you stop anywhere?
Once we left where we met up, no, sir, we didn't.
Okay, drove straight from
Yes.
I-35 in Wintergreen to Twin Peaks.
Yes, sir.
All right, and who are the bikes behind you? Here, I'll show you 1072. Who rides the red bike?
That's my dad there,
Okay,
and that's the brother from Arkansas.
okay. He was a patch bandito?
Yes, sir.
1073.
That's my brother Candyman and Wrecker, I believe.
Okay, so Candyman is the gentleman that passed away at Twin Peaks?
Yes, sir.
And Wrecker, what's his full name?
Reggie Weathers.
Reggie Weathers. We've talked about him before.
Yes, sir.
States 1074. Still have Bandidos.
Yes, sir. Still Bandidos.
Okay. Who are those two guys in the front?
Reno, not sure his last name, and Scratch.
But Reno and Scratch are two of the guys that you text message with in those group chats as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And behind Reno and Scratch?
Honestly, I'm not sure who those two are.
Are these Bandidos or these support clubs?
They're support clubs.
Okay. 1076. Do you recognize any of these bikes?
This is support club member Jumbo.
Okay, we've seen some messages between you and Jumbo.
Yes, sir. Two Clowns,
Two Clowns, we recognize that name.
and I'm not for sure who that is.
Okay. So you had sent these messages to support clubs to bring tools and meet up at I-35 in Wintergreen. Surprised you that these guys followed your instructions and did in fact bring their tools with them?
I wasn't sure at that time. They did show up to meet up with us.
All right. States 1077. Who do we see here?
Honestly, I'm not sure. They are support club members from around Dallas.
Okay. 1078. Also support club members?
He was a prospect for one of the support clubs. I know him by Val,
Okay.
and he was a support club member. Pitt,
Pitt.
P-I-T.
Okay. And just so we're clear, that first photograph on the highway, the guy with the blue jean vest, that's the guy you just identified as a prospect?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's talk about the relationship a little bit between the Dallas Bandidos and their support clubs.
Yes, sir.
When you were a member of ROCA, did y'all have bylaws?
Yes, we did.
And did the Bandidos help you write those bylaws?
No, sir. We came up with them on our own.
Okay. Do you help the support clubs write their bylaws?
Yeah, I helped them.
Okay. And are the Vaqueros and Camaradas two of the support clubs in the Dallas area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you seen their bylaws?
I'm sure I have. I can't remember a specific time, but I'm sure I've seen them.
Sure. You said that you always carry bylaws or usually carry your bylaws with you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Is that kind of a known thing that most MCs have, that you're supposed to carry those bylaws with you at all times?
I'm not sure. I just know I carry them.
So you wouldn't be surprised to know that some of these support club members had their bylaws with them at Twin Peaks when they were arrested?
I wouldn't be surprised, no.
Jake, I'm going to show you States Exhibit 1080. Does that appear to be the bylaws for, let me say that one,
Camaradas.
MC Dallas?
I believe so. I'm not sure if I've seen these before or not.
And States Exhibit 1081, does that appear to be the bylaws for the Vaqueros Motorcycle Club?
It looks like it. I don't know if I've seen them or not either.
But go ahead and take a look at them and tell me if those appear to be the bylaws for each of those groups.
It says that, so I'm assuming they are.
You don't have any reason to believe they're made up?
No, sir. I don't have any reason to believe that.
You know who Elazar Martinez is?
No, I don't.
We'll offer States 1080 and 1081.
And Your Honor, we would object to hearsay. And an improper predicate at that.
How's the predicate feel?
He's not seen them before, he just read what they were out loud.
Judge, I think he said he recognized them as the bylaws of support clubs of the Dallas Bandidos.
Well, he recognizes the clubs as support clubs, but as far as what these documents are, he just read the titles to them.
Anything else? I'm going to sustain the objection.
Jake, I think on direct examination, you said that the Dallas Bandidos have no control over support club members. Is that right?
That's correct.
So I'll just ask it in a question. Mr. Carrizal, you say you've never heard of this, but isn't it true that if the Vaqueros or the Camaradas close up, they have to give all of their
I
merchandise?
object to the question, Your Honor. Mr. Jarrett is backdooring hearsay that Mr. Carrizal has no personal knowledge of, and he just said that from the stand.
Judge, it's cross-examination. I'm not reading from a document.
He is reading the contents of the document in the form of a question that Mr. Carrizal has never seen and has no personal knowledge of.
That's what I'm trying to explore, Judge, if he has personal knowledge of it.
So what's your question?
My question
Your
is,
question.
Mr. Carrizal, are you aware that if the Vaqueros in Dallas or the Camaradas in Dallas close their doors and dissolve the club, that they are obligated to return any club merchandise to the Dallas Bandidos chapter.
May I take this witness on board our, Your Honor? One question.
I'm not trying to offer evidence, Judge. I'm just asking the question.
I understand. And you can't take him on board at this time. And you're asking whether he's aware of that.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll allow him to answer the question.
May I lodge an objection to the answer before he gives it, Your Honor?
Sure.
If it's not based on, I would object to hearsay if it's not based on his personal knowledge.
Well, I don't want him to answer unless he has personal knowledge.
Thank you, sir.
And that's my question. Are you aware of that
No,
stipulation?
No, sir, I've never been aware of that.
As the president of the Dallas Bandidos, you're not aware whether or not that's in the bylaws of either of your support club chapters?
Honestly, no, I'm not, man. I'm not.
But I think you said it would be honorable if it was.
Well, that and the part about any funds donated to the Texas Food Bank.
Okay.
It's pretty honorable.
All right. When you got to Twin Peaks, Jake, and just to be clear, you were wearing the icon helmet with multicolors. There's lots of gambling references on the helmet. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's chips and dice and cards.
Yeah, it's multicolored, multi-image.
And the helmet has a yellow face shield, is that right?
Yes, a gold one.
Gold face shield. We just looked at all the photographs of the bikers riding in. How many of those had yellow helmets on?
I believe mine was the only multicolored helmet there.
The only one with the yellow face shield?
Correct. In that group there.
Sure. When did you realize that the Cossacks were present at Twin Peaks?
When I pulled into Twin Peaks, and after I passed that first vacant spot, when I started going to the next spot, is when I realized they were Cossacks.
Jeff, we can turn the lights back on.
Okay.
Now, the Cossacks are a group that you're familiar with at this point in time in your life.
I am, yes, sir.
And you were on May the 17th, 2015, correct?
I was aware of them, yes.
You've kind of gone at that for quite a while. You and every other Bandito was aware of this conflict between the Cossacks and the Bandidos.
I won't say every Bandito knew. I knew my chapter knew that they were targeting us, but there wasn't any kind of formal information put out.
And if they're targeting you, you still made the decision to come in where there's a large group of them and back your motorcycle right to where that large group of potential enemies are.
Well, when we pulled into the parking at Twin Peaks, I wasn't aware that they were Cossacks until we started parking.
Okay. When you saw that they were Cossacks, did it cross your mind to move on and just ride away?
No, sir.
Why not?
Well, the COC is it's known as sacred ground. Whether we have a conflict with them or not, if they're there for the COC meeting, then it's sacred ground. No matter if you have a conflict or not, that's an understanding that every club has of the COC meetings.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 6. I see a lot of open parking spots around the Central Texas Marketplace, don't we?
Well, this area wasn't open when we got there.
Fair enough. There were cars. The people were eating their lunch at the Don Carlos as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Could have parked way back here, though. Could have parked over here.
Well, when we got over here, we didn't realize that there was a lot of parking here, or a lot of parked motorcycles.
Okay. So you decided to go right into the very central front of a group of motorcycles that were already parked there, right?
Yes, sir. At the time, I wasn't aware they were Cossack motorcycles.
And there was some discussion about whether or not it's nice to double park a motorcycle. Fair to say that if it was just your brothers, it'd be just fine to park your motorcycle in front of another brother's motorcycle?
Well, just my brothers or any other motorcycle club. It's not a sign of disrespect.
Well, can you see where it might be a sign of a disrespect to a group that you're feuding with for the last year?
No, sir. If they would have parked in front of us, it would not have bothered us.
Wouldn't have bothered you?
No, sir.
Okay. But you chose not to drive on and park somewhere else.
And honestly, I've never been here. What I assume, like most motorcycle events, that this would have been filled up, and a lot of times they fill the middle aisle up with motorcycles parked there as well. So I figured that's what would happen here as well.
Okay. That's a good point. You chose not to go to the end of the aisle where you could have double parked, let's say, over here, where nobody's standing out in front of the bikes. You could have parked here or down here, like you said, in that middle aisle.
Well,
you didn't do that. You went right in front of the middle of the Cossacks.
well, when I decided to park here, we wouldn't actually park in front of these motorcycles. It would have been kind of like right here in the middle.
Okay. But that's not what you did.
No, sir.
As you told us yesterday, one of the strongest tools the Bandidos has is a show of force, and it usually deters others from doing stupid things.
Correct.
And that's what you were doing on May 17th, right?
Not really. No.
You were showing your force by coming in a large group and expecting that the Cossacks would back down.
No, sir. Not at all.
And that's why you attempted to park right on top of where their group was gathered.
No, sir. There was a small vacant area here, and realizing that we had more bikes that would fit there, I saw this gap here. So the courteous thing for the people behind me would be for me to come up here and park here, and would fill that gap up, and we would fill this gap up.
As soon as you got off your bike, you said that there was conflict, immediate Cossacks coming down off of that patio and saying derogatory things towards you and towards David Martinez, correct?
Before I got off my bike.
Even before you got off your bike.
Yes, sir.
And these guys started by calling David Martinez names, fat ass.
That was after I got off my bike, and that was after I made my way back to my brothers.
You've heard the law on self-defense. You know that verbal provocation is not enough to physically assault somebody, correct?
Absolutely.
And that's all they were doing at that point.
At that point, yes, sir.
Okay. You could have got on your bike and said, "Hey, man, I don't want to start a problem. I just want to go to the COC," and gone and parked somewhere else. But you chose not to do that, correct?
I didn't have that option at the time.
Why not?
My bike was on all sides covered by Cossacks.
Well, let's talk about that, Jake. The Cossacks came over the railing and got in front of you, correct?
They did, yes. Yeah, they got, all around me.
In the past 4 weeks, we've seen a lot of video. We see a video of a group of Bandidos and Bandidos Support Club members that were previously standing in this area, correct?
I see it on the video now.
Okay. And when you drove up, this group converged on your bikes, correct?
I never saw that at the time.
But you know it now.
I know it now, yes, sir.
Okay. So your back wasn't covered up by Cossacks.
It sure felt like it.
You were flanked by your own supporters, correct?
I still don't agree with that, man.
Okay.
I don't.
You testified yesterday that you knew you had to get over here. As a man who'd never been to Twin Peaks in Waco, Texas, how did you know you needed to get over here?
Well, before I knew the cops were shooting at the gunmen, I was covered up, and all I knew was the Cossacks were attacking us. I didn't know the cops were there as well. So I knew we needed to get to some kind of cover. And the Cossacks flooding off that patio, I sure didn't want to go in there.
Your testimony yesterday was you didn't pull your Derringer until you were back here, is that right?
Until I was here.
Okay. Near that pole?
Actually, I was in front of those bikes.
Okay. Do you recall the testimony of Shaniqua Corsi?
Yes, sir, I do.
You recall she was very clear that the man in the yellow helmet started the fight.
I remember her testimony, yes, sir.
Remember she said pulled out a silver cowboy gun?
I remember that, yes, sir.
What color was that Derringer you were carrying?
It was silver. And she also said it was a large, dirty, hairy gun.
You ever stared down the barrel of a gun?
That day I did.
Okay. How large did that gun look?
Those guns looked very large.
You agree with me, when you're looking at the barrel of a gun, a 38 Derringer may look like a 50 caliber.
I just don't see her seeing anything like that from inside there. She did not have that.
But you were the man in the yellow helmet.
I was one of the men in a yellow helmet.
Oh. What other men on the video do we see wearing a yellow helmet?
I know there was another yellow helmet found over here.
And we know that was a Bandito, either Jeff Batty or Ray Allen, correct?
I'm going to object to that testimony,
I'll ask
to
him.
the state testifying, Your Honor. That's not an evidence.
Cross-examination, Your Honor.
Go ahead and ask him.
Are you aware of whether that yellow helmet was worn by either a man named Ray Allen or Jeff Batty?
No, sir, I'm not sure who wore that helmet.
You
They
know-
didn't ride with us.
But you're aware that those are the two individuals that were over here.
Those were two of the individuals.
That other helmet that we've seen a picture of didn't have a gold reflective shield on the front,
I'm not sure.
and it wasn't broken off.
I don't think it was broken off, but I don't remember the shield.
So again, the yellow helmet that was in the fracas right here in the front, that was your yellow helmet, correct?
Correct. I do not deny wearing the multicolored
Fair enough.
helmet.
You said that when you got to this location, you tried to reload the 38, the Derringer, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us, were you able to reload it?
No, sir. I was shaken, and there's no way.
What did you do with the bullets?
I threw them down with the gun.
The live ammunition?
The ones I popped out, and the other ones I believe.
Okay. So how much ammunition did you bring with you to Twin Peaks that day?
4 bullets.
2 loaded and 2 extras?
Yes, sir.
And you say you weren't able to reload that gun?
Correct.
I'm going to take a step back because I just got handed some information that you asked for. See if I can clear something up. Jake, you remember State's Exhibit 117 that we were talking about, this message from Jughead?
Yes, sir.
The defense objects to 1082 to the, I guess, hearsay by Mr. Jughead. There are photographs that we have no objections to, but it's all part of the same exhibit.
And Judge, he's validated that this is the conversation that he had with Jughead. There's conversations back and forth with accepting messages. So Judge, this is not hearsay. We're offering it not for the truth of the matter, but to rebut the statements that the defendant made that he had a problem with this person taking the flag. It's optional completeness. He's asked for the complete conversation. There it is, and it rebuts his statement that he had a problem with his flag being taken. It's also information that was later acted upon, which is the case that we had in front of us.
objection, Your Honor. These text messages, there are text messages in this document that are not in my copy of Mr. Carrizal's phone. And so I would object to.
Judge, I would object to that statement. Ms. Gotros used search terms if she's been unable to pull these text messages up. But to say that they're not in the phone, I don't believe is accurate. I told her we could look at that. She could find out what search terms we used to find that.
I see your search terms.
Well, are you alleging that you haven't received all those text messages in discovery? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying I'm,
It's a chat. It's not SMS text message.
okay, I've got part of them. I've got part of them, yes, Your Honor. At this point, I've not seen this, and I can't pull them up on what was tendered to me. And so I'm objecting to hearsay and no notice.
Judge, she has the same messages. At a break, we can be happy to show them to her.
Okay, let's do that at a break then.
All right, getting back to May the 17th. You do admit that you fired a weapon twice?
Yes, sir, I do.
And it's your testimony you were shooting at Jacob Ryan?
I'm not sure if I was shooting at him for sure. I just remember seeing what it looks like in the video is Jacob Ryan's.
Jake, you testified yesterday that you would do anything for your brothers, is that right?
Just about anything, yes, sir.
What wouldn't you do for your brothers?
I wouldn't lie for him. I wouldn't commit a crime for him. I wouldn't. I wouldn't lose my integrity or my honor for them.
All right, let's talk about all of those things. The first thing you said is you wouldn't lie for them. You had an opportunity to speak with an officer, Melissa Malone, after the Twin Peaks shooting, is that right?
Is that who interviewed me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You lied to her.
Did I?
You did. You told your lawyer you lied to her
Oh, about having a gun?
about having a gun.
Well, I was scared and I lied for myself.
You lied to her by saying that you took your helmet off, correct?
Which part, man? I did take my helmet off, but I'm not sure what you're getting at.
Well, you lied to her by saying that you couldn't hear what the Cossacks were saying. You pulled off your helmet and stepped off the bike, and then the gunfire started. You never took your helmet off when you were in the middle of the melee, did you?
No, I didn't, not until afterwards.
Okay, so you lied about that.
I believe, well, I guess so. At that time, I'm not going to say I had amnesia, but at that time, I still couldn't comprehend everything that was going on. I couldn't, I honestly didn't know what was going on.
Is it because you knew that helmet would identify you? Somebody would say if Jake was wearing that helmet, it would identify you as one of the people that started the fight?
No, sir. I knew there would be cameras, and I knew I wasn't trying to hide.
But you lied to the police.
I did lie to Miss Malone.
Okay. Do you think that shows a high sense of honor or integrity?
I think I was scared, and I wouldn't usually do it, but you're right. It wasn't honorable to do that.
Okay. So two of the things that you said you would never do for your brothers, you just admitted to doing.
For myself, actually.
Okay, lying and not showing honor.
Correct.
Jake, your testimony got emotional yesterday, did it not, when you talked about your father?
It does, yes, sir.
May 17th, 2015, you testified that you nearly lost your father because of the Bandidos, right?
No, sir.
Well, do you think you would have been in this gunfight had it not been for your membership in the Bandidos?
It's not because of the Bandidos.
Are you a member of any other clubs?
No, sir.
You ever been a member of any other organizations?
No. not really.
You see what I'm getting at? The reason that there was a gunfight was because the Cossacks and the Bandidos didn't get along. Fair?
The reason we could have been there at that COC, and we've done it for years and years, and there's never been any conflict.
My point is, the reason that there was a gunfight is because you had two rival groups that it came to a head in Waco, Texas.
I believe we were targeted as Bandidos
Because you're a Bandito is why we had this gunfight.
because they were targeting Bandidos.
So you agree that being a Bandito is part of the reason there was a gunfight in Waco, Texas?
I believe you're trying to twist it, and I'm not.
I'm not.
Okay. I believe that we were targeted and we were ambushed because we were Bandidos that day.
Again, because you were Banditos, there was a gunfight in Waco, Texas. We're saying the same thing.
Well, then, okay. If that's what you're saying.
Knowing that now, that just being a Bandito subjects you to gunfire, subjects your father to near death, you still won't say, hey, I'm done with this. I'm moving away from it. I'm going to focus on my family. In fact, you've moved further into the Bandidos, correct?
Because I do focus on my family, and that conflict that they had with us, I believe it's stopped. I don't believe I'm a target as a Bandito. I don't believe our club is a target any longer.
But after being arrested, spent 26 days in jail, getting out, you didn't stop being a Bandito. You pushed it further. You became a president.
I didn't push it forward, but yes, I wanted it to continue, my chapter to continue the right way. And after time, then I did come back around.
After Twin Peaks, were you awarded something as part of your membership in the Bandidos?
It wasn't an award, but by no means.
What am I talking about?
Well, can you clarify what you're talking about?
Did you earn the Expect No Mercy patch?
It was given to me, yes, sir.
Okay, who gave it to you?
A brother in Houston.
Who's that brother?
His name's Johnny.
Johnny who?
Honestly, I don't know his last name. I've seen him 100 times, but I know him as Johnny.
Does he have a national leadership position?
No, sir, I don't believe he does.
But Johnny has the authority to give out the Expect No Mercy badge?
I guess so. He gave it to me.
Okay. Did you ask why?
Why he gave it to me?
Yeah.
He told me why when he gave it to me.
Why did you get it?
He said that I was facing everything I'm sitting up here for.
Okay.
And he knows that I had a long road ahead of me, and that in my position, I cannot expect mercy from the outside.
So you're saying it's because you were going to be tried in this courtroom that you received the Expect No Mercy patch, is that right?
That's part of it, and part of what I walked into. I'm being judged by all of law enforcement. I'm being judged by a society that has no idea what our club is about.
Are all Bandidos judged the same way?
I believe so.
Okay. Did all Bandidos receive the Expect No Mercy patch?
No, sir. Not even all Bandidos that were at Twin Peaks that day.
Good point. When did you receive the Expect No Mercy patch?
I can't remember a date, maybe a year ago, something like that.
Be surprised to know that it was in 2015?
No, I wouldn't be surprised to know.
Before you were even indicted for any crime in Waco, Texas?
I'm not sure, man.
I'm telling you, that's the facts.
Okay, then I agree with you.
So it wasn't because you were the first to go to trial. You hadn't even been indicted yet.
Well, it was for all of it, man, for being arrested on the spot, for being in jail and not knowing when we would be released, for the ongoing fight that I'm fighting.
But not every Bandito that was even at Twin Peaks got the patch, correct?
No, sir, I don't believe so.
Who else got it?
I don't know for sure.
Reggie get it?
I don't believe so. Maybe he will. I'm sure he will.
You put the patch on. Why'd you take it off?
I took it off because I was being told by family and friends that it looks bad on there.
It looks exactly the way we said it looks, right?
No, not at all.
Was it a fashion statement?
The patch?
It looked bad. Is that what you meant? It looked bad in
Well,
a fashion sense?
We knew law enforcement does not understand us and our patches, and we didn't want to give them any more than to come after me about.
Because you knew that's information that law enforcement looks at, correct?
Well, yeah, I believe they look at everything.
You recognize this?
Yes, sir, I do.
That's your cut that you were wearing at Twin Peaks?
Yes, sir, it is.
If you could, explain to us what some of these patches mean. What does Malandro mean?
It's a patch that a brother, different brothers in different areas come up with different patches. It's just, and then if they like you or you spend time with them, they'll give you a patch. It doesn't really have any definite meaning.
Well, you haven't just put it on this vest, you put it on your other vest as well.
Yes, sir.
It means something to you.
That brother means something to me.
What does Malandro mean to you?
It was given to me by that brother, and that's why I wear it.
We've talked about code, we've talked about secret meanings. What does Malandro mean?
The definition?
Yes.
It means like a joker, like a mal is bad.
Yep.
You know, like a bad guy, bad joker.
Bad guy.
That's
It's
part of the
literal
definition. That's what the definition is. Yes, sir.
The other side says bad reputation.
Yes, sir.
I think you talked about that. That's because you have a bad reputation.
The club has a bad reputation. Yes, sir.
But that's something you take pride in.
It was something our chapter adopted as like a slogan, or that's one of the patches that if we're close to a member, that's one we would give them. And there's no underlining definition like you guys insist there is.
Okay. Who decides what patches are earned and not earned?
All of our patches in some way are earned. You know, we don't just give them to anyone and everyone.
What I'm getting at is the expect no mercy patch. You've told us the law enforcement's wrong, that it means you need to expect no mercy from the system. Is that right?
Correct. Yes,
You've
sir.
heard other bandidos testify that it means something else, right?
Not any bandidos that actually have that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. And you also said that Malandro doesn't really mean what it says.
Correct. It was a patch that a brother came up with, and we do have patches that say bad things, but it's that brother came up with that patch, and that brother is the one that gave it to me. And there's no hidden meaning, or it's not me saying I'm a bad guy.
So some patches and some stickers have hidden meanings, some don't. Is that fair?
I believe that's how you feel.
You tell me.
No, actually I don't. I think they're kind of a token of love or brotherhood when someone gives them to you.
Okay, so the sticker that you have, or your dad had, that said, "I do gang things,"
Yes, sir.
does that mean what it says?
Well, that's a sticker I believe he came up with.
All right. So you agree that Expect No Mercy was an earned patch, though?
Yes, sir. They're all earned. Even our memorial patches, we feel like it's an earned privilege to wear those.
How many of these vests do you have, or have you had through the years?
Like actual cuts or patches?
Cuts.
Cuts. I think I've had 3.
You had a blue jean jacket one at one point?
Yes, sir.
A kind of dark blue?
Yeah.
Then you had this one,
Yes, sir.
but we've taken this one into evidence.
This one is in evidence. Yes, sir.
Did you get another one?
Yes, sir.
And is it jean or is it leather?
It's a combination of both.
Okay. And when did you get that one?
I don't know, after Twin Peaks sometime, 2015 maybe.
Everything that we've talked about in these patches, they talk about bad behavior or potential criminal violence, but you say it doesn't mean that. Why do you put things that put you out there as a criminal if you're not a criminal?
Well, that's a whole image the biker community has had for years and years, and we kind of, it's, we like that image, but now it's, y'all are using it against us and taking it very literally.
Well, we're using your own words against you?
You're using, our patches in our culture. Yeah, you're using it literally against us, and it's not meant to be as literal as law enforcement has taken it.
Well, it has been literal through the last 50 years, has it not?
No, not totally. No, sir.
Well, you know that Bandidos have been arrested throughout the years.
There's been thousands of Bandidos, and I'm sure.
Well, you know your Bandito history, don't you?
Yes, sir. I know.
You know the history of the leadership of the Bandidos, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Who was the first president?
Don Chambers.
Did he do some time?
I believe he did.
For murder, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How about Ronnie Hodge?
I believe he did time. I'm not sure what his was.
How about James Johnson?
I don't think that's one of our national presidents.
He was.
You're gonna put me on the spot.
I studied too, Jake.
I see that, but no, I knew a Craig Johnson, but not a James.
How about George Wedgers?
Yes, he was a president.
From Washington?
Yes, sir.
He went to prison too?
He did.
RICO charges?
I'm not sure what his charges were.
Okay. Let's talk about the current cut that you have.
Yes, sir.
How's it different from this one?
It's a lot different.
Okay. Ms. Gotro asked you about the bond conditions that you had. One of those was non-association with gang members or motorcycle clubs, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you flat out flunked that, didn't you not?
Well, I understood it to be no association with gang members.
Jake, you're a smart guy.
I am.
It said motorcycle clubs or members of motorcycle clubs as well, didn't it?
She cleared that up for me. Yes, sir.
Okay. So when was that cleared up for you?
This year.
She became your attorney in March. Is that
Yes,
right?
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
after March, you were clear on the issue.
After March, yes, sir.
Okay. You remember going to a Georgetown run in March?
Yes, prior to meeting Miss Gotro.
That run was March 11th of this year, is that right?
That sounds about right.
Did you also get a new bike after Twin Peaks?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. What kind of bike did you get?
The one after Twin Peaks was a FXR.
Is that Harley Davidson?
Yes, sir.
How would you describe that bike? What does it look like?
It was black, and then I painted it red.
Okay. When it was black, did it also have kind of white on the gas tank with some gold outline?
No, sir, that's the bike I have now.
That's the bike you have now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about that bike.
It's a Dyna. It's black and white.
Black and white?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit 1085, Jake. Whose bike is this?
That's my bike.
Okay. And that's the Dyna?
Yes, sir.
And you don't have a bright yellow helmet anymore, is that right?
No, you have it.
Okay. Just a plain black helmet?
It's like a gunmetal gray and black.
Okay. We see another bike in this picture. Is this one of the folks you were riding with in Georgetown?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of bike is that?
That's a Dyna as well.
All right. And he's got a red helmet, is that right?
Yes, sir.
States 1084. Do we see that second bike with a guy wearing a Road Dogs cut?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Who is that gentleman?
I believe his name is Mouse.
Mouse, and he's one of your support club members?
Yes, sir.
And the Road Dogs are one of the Bandidos support clubs
Yes, sir.
out of Collin County?
Correct.
States 1083. Who do we see in 1083?
That's me.
And this is your new cut after you were ordered by the court not to associate with motorcycle clubs, is that right?
That is correct.
So you didn't follow that instruction from the court. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
You said that things changed after March, and this was before Ms. Gotro became your lawyer. Was there any other occasion where you associated with the Bandidos?
Yeah, there had been. Yes, sir.
After Ms. Gotro became your attorney?
Yes, sir, after.
In fact, in July of 2017, you got arrested in Grand Prairie, Texas, is that right?
Yes, sir.
For a traffic violation?
It was for not changing my address on my driver's license.
Who were you with when you got arrested there?
One of he's in our support club. He was a probate at the time.
Is he a member of the support club now?
Yes, sir.
What club is that?
Camaradas.
Why were you with that member?
I was on my way home and stopped to get tacos, and they pulled me. Well, I was already pulled over, but the cops came in and we were going in to get tacos, and cops turned their lights on.
In fact, you were with a guy named Dorian LeBeau, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And he's a Bandito now?
No, sir. He's in a support club.
Now, Jake, we had talked about you removing the Expect No Mercy patch. Had you removed it at this time?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
As we're getting closer to the trial, you've removed it?
I removed it for a while. Yes, sir.
Okay. States 1086. That's you. That's your bike. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
States 1087. You talked about your new tattoos on your hands. That happened this year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I believe so.
What's that new moniker that you have on your cut?
That one?
Yeah.
Lucky motherfucker.
Why are you a lucky motherfucker?
Because at the time of Twin Peaks, I was shot at numerous times.
And you survived?
And I survived, yes, sir.
1088. I can't see it, but what is this sticker on your bike here?
I am my brother's keeper.
Okay.
And it's a patch.
Oh, it's a patch.
Yes, sir.
Okay. States 1089. We see the Texas bottom rocker on the back of your cut here, but there's a new straight rocker. What is that?
It says United States.
You didn't have that when you were arrested at Twin Peaks. What's that change about?
I had one. I believe I gave it to a brother. Nothing. We wear them if we want to wear them.
States 1090. I want to talk about some changes that you made to your cut here.
Yes, sir.
We now see that you have become the president. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me about these right here. We see the Malandro on your neck. What are these lightning bolts?
That's lightning bolts. It's something that's been adopted by the motorcycle community back in the 60s and 70s.
Adopted from who?
It's just a kind of a rebellion statement is what.
You know where those originated from, right?
Well, I know the Nazis used them, but that's not where they originated,
Well,
from what I understand.
you're aware that that's what the SS Nazi death squad troops wore,
Yes, they wore that.
and you probably put that on your cut as well.
Not because it's Nazi
Well, there's
memorabilia or
meaning.
whatever.
What's the meaning on your cut?
It was given to me by, I believe, by my brother.
What does it mean?
It's just it's kind of like the outlaw.
Why did he give it to you?
It's a patch he gave to me. There was really no direct meaning behind it. I thought it looked cool, honestly.
Do you have honor in wearing something that you share with the Nazi death squads?
Absolutely not, no. But I have honor in my brother giving it to me, and it means something to me.
Is that the only other time you associated with Bandidos while you were on bond and in violation of the court's order?
I don't believe so, no.
You ever been to a bar called the Lone Star Grill?
I'm sure I have if you're saying I have.
I wouldn't just guess, Jake. And that's in Richardson, Texas?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Who were you with that day?
I believe I was with my youngest brother.
Okay. That would be Chuck?
Yes, sir.
Who else were you with?
I believe it was him and I rode there together, but if I remember correctly, it was a bike night the Harley shop put on.
Okay. Do you recognize the name Jeremy McGovern?
But you'll have to remind me, man.
I don't know the road name.
Okay, I don't know.
How about Ricky Wyckoff?
Yes, I.
How about him?
Jumbo.
Jumbo.
Yes,
that's right.
sir.
Okay. Michael Thomas?
I don't remember his name.
Salvador Campos?
Yes, sir.
Those guys Bandidos?
No, sir. I don't remember them there, but
So this is a bike night at a Richardson bar, is that right?
yes, sir.
States 1093. This is you kind of checking in, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And is Richardson a dry city where you have to actually get a kind of a temporary licensed or a club membership to drink at a bar?
Yes, sir.
1094, we see you walking in. Is that you wearing the hat?
Yes, sir.
One of your favorite hats?
It's a hat that was a gift. I think I've worn it a couple times, but not many times.
1092, a little bit better picture of you.
Yes, sir.
Now, you changed your vest again at this point from July to August, is that right?
I think it's the same one. But yeah,
You changed the orientation of some of the patches.
yes, sir.
We now see the Expect No Mercy is back on your vest, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the SS bolts went from the top down to underneath this patch here.
Correct.
Why'd you do that?
I just rearranged them to put that Expect No Mercy back on.
Okay. The hat that you're wearing, what do we see on top of the hat?
That's lightning bolts.
Okay, so we see the SS bolts both on a hat and on your vest now.
Yes, it was a. Yes, sir.
Did your brother give you the hat as well?
No, he didn't give me the hat.
What Bandidos can wear those bolts?
Actually, any of them can.
And I think you said the meaning is
It was. There's so many patches that are given out that they mean something coming from that brother to the recipient, and that brother just, well, he loves me, and he gave me those.
Can you give out the double lightning bolts
Yeah, of course.
if you wanted to? Why would you give somebody those?
Well, I've never given them, or I don't even have any to give out. It's just, if I'm sure I could give them, anyone could.